Alrighty, so today I want to talk about, can you sit down and have a conversation and reason with a narcissist? Is that possible? Can you sit down with them and just have a normal conversation and say, I feel this way, you're affecting me in this way, and let's solve that. Is that possible? And answer to that is absolutely not. And I'll explain why. And first, I'll tell you my experience on trying to reason with my narcissistic mother. And she's the original narcissist in my life. So she's the main one. So before I knew what narcissism was, this kind of personality disorder, and before I was enlightened to all of this, I attempted many times to just have a normal conversation where I would express to her, this is how I'm feeling, these things that you're doing are making me feel this way. And at this point, I had stopped drinking alcohol and smoking weed, so I was fully sober and cognizant of all my feelings. So it was important to me because it was a continual bombardment of all this negativity coming from her. And, you know, I thought you could sit down and reason with a person and solve your problems by communicating and expressing yourself. That's how normal people solve problems. So I enlisted the help of my dad, and he is her little pet. He is one of the big enablers in her life. But I can kind of reason with him, and I asked him, like, hey, can we all sit down and can I express myself, and can we come to some kind of agreement where this behavior stops? Because my wife and I and our children decided to move onto their property and live in their guest house. And unbeknownst to me, I had a narcissistic mother. So we sit down at the table, me, my dad, and my mom, and I'm telling her, okay, first I told her, I was like, I don't know what you're going through, but like, I have empathy for you, and I'm here to help you, because she just do the weirdest stuff, is always so hot and cold with everything, like, I like you, I hate you, I like you, I hate you. And we got into this big blowout with the neighbors, where the neighbors are like this couple from Cali, and they're like these biker party people. They don't have kids. They're always like blaring music, and they're drunk all the time, and whatever. I don't care. But they lost their minds because I started a woodworking business in our shop. I fixed up the shop, and I bought a bunch of woodworking equipment, and I wanted to start this woodworking business. And, it's in proximity to their home. Everyone lives on these like 2-acre kind of long lots, and they're all by each other. And so, yeah, you can hear my woodworking equipment. But I wasn't doing it early in the morning or late in the day, and usually I'd only be in the shop for a few hours running equipment. A lot of it was like sanding and finishing and prep like that. But anyway, they decided that they got all bent out of shape about it, and called my mom to complain. And so she proceeded to just hammer on me about bugging the neighbors because of my woodworking. And I was just like, man, like, where's the loyalty? This person has no loyalty. I have a wife and 2 kids. I'm trying to start a woodworking business so I can be close to my family and make a living. And everything was cool up until, the neighbors got bent out of shape about hearing me in my shop. And really, what it boils down to, it doesn't matter, because, you can run equipment during the day. That's fine. So anyway, she just throws me under the bus, and they just shut it down. And she loses her mind, and says, like, you can't do this anymore, and the neighbors are pissed. And so she just took their side, doesn't stand up for her own kid. And that was kind of the final straw, where I was like, wow, this is really weird we need to do something about this, and let's have a chat and figure something out. And so that's, that was like the last straw or whatever. And sitting down and talking with her, I was trying to be empathetic, and I thought that she was having emotional problems of her own that were making her behave this way. And so I expressed, hey, I feel for you. I'm here for you, whatever you need. What can we do to make you feel better so you just behave in a normal way? But rather than her listening to anything I had to say, she just immediately jumps to defensive mode and is like, oh, so you're just saying that I'm a shitty mother. And I told her, I was like, I'm not saying you're a shitty mother, but I'm saying that your behavior is odd and that it affects people around you, and especially me. It's been affecting me my whole life, and I want to change that. Because I've been sober for a while, you're forced to confront all your emotions and all your feelings. There's no running away from that. And, I want to process that and move on and just have a healthy relationship with the people in my life. But, she basically couldn't hear anything, got super defensive, and then just gave this like weird, oh, I'll do better kind of answer, and never addressed anything that I was saying, any of the feelings, anything I was trying to interpret from her behavior. Just ignored all of that, played the victim, and then just gave some like empty, well, I'll do better, and then just kind of wrote me off from there. And this is before I understood narcissism and these people. And so what I know now, and this is really important, and this is why you can never reason with these people, it's the fact that they have very little empathy. They don't feel other people's pain and suffering, or even other people's enjoyment. They don't have feelings like we do. Something is off inside of them, and so you cannot approach any kind of emotional topic with them without them completely either taking control of it or trying to just destroy whatever you're having to say. And they have all their ways of doing that. So that's the big thing with these people, is they can't feel empathy, and everything is all about them. They're just so focused on their own goals and what they're intent on, and all the destruction and chaos that they're absolutely bent on pursuing 24 hours a day. If you get in the way of that or try to bring any of that to light, they have these crazy mechanisms in place to defend themselves. And really for them, they have this delusional story that, because to me it's like, how do these people fall asleep at night? How do you go to sleep when you know you're actively ruining someone's life? And number one is they don't feel that. They don't feel that they are. Number two, they have this delusional story that they tell themselves and they repeat in their mind, and then they act out in life. My narcissistic mother has a strange delusional story of how great she is, and she's helping everyone, and she's great with the animals, and she's this like being of support and help. And in all actuality, it's the complete opposite, man. Her animals are sick and barely alive and totally mentally hating it. Totally weird animals. Every relationship in her life is completely destroyed, or it's some lapdog enabler situation. And she's completely delusional. But I think these people can just tell themselves this story over and over and over again, and then it just becomes true in their delusional world. And so that's to sum it up. You cannot reason with a narcissist. They have defense mechanisms in place. The only way to really deal with these people is no contact. You have two options. I'll talk more about this in the next video. Zero contact, where you never see them or hear them or talk to them or anything ever again. Or you got to do the gray zone, which I'll get into that more. But if you can do zero contact with this person, I mean, say it's like a boyfriend or a girlfriend or even a wife or a husband, but if you can separate from them and never deal with them ever again, it's going to completely change your life. Zero contact's the best. So I had zero contact with my narcissistic mother for a year, and my entire life changed. So take that for what it is. Anyway, thanks for watching. Yeah, I'll do the next one about, how to actually deal with these people in a healthy way. Okay, have a good one.